Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. I hope you had a wonderful week, or rather the last 2 weeks have been great for you. I was off last week, as I mentioned, that I will be off running the Comrades Marathon in Durban, South Africa last week, Sunday. So the marathon went well. I finished the 90-kilometer marathon in 10 hours 21. Thank you all for those who were tracking and cheering and supporting. It was actually quite great and tough. Thank you very much for all your support. All right, so now we are back. We get started with this week's analysis. Before we get started, I've got to the timestamps back. As you've seen from the last week, there is somebody assisting me with the timestamps. Thank you very much, Mike, for the timestamps. So if you're watching the videos and you want to track a specific pairs, you can just go to the timestamps. The timestamps will be available a couple of hours after the webinar, as soon as the video is edited. Okay, so you can find there, you can just click on any pair that you're interested in. You don't have to go and toggle around. So that helps quite a lot, even if you want to track the previous videos. I know the previous couple of weeks videos do not have timestamps. We're still going to put on timestamps on those so that you can track them properly. So that works wonderfully well. So if you want to contact me regarding the course, which is supposed to start the 17th of June, which is tomorrow, we're going to move the course up one day because it's a public holiday in South Africa tomorrow. So the course will actually start on the Tuesday. All right, so if you want to contact me, you can contact me on my contact details are under the description of all my videos. That is my email address, my Telegram or WhatsApp number. That is my mobile number that you can use. You are not going to reach me quickly on TradingView inbox. Rather use the Telegram channel. Or rather contact me via Telegram or WhatsApp. That is the quickest you can reach me. So if you wanted information on the course, the timing of the course, the cost of the course, the content of the course, you'll find that on email in detail. All right, so let's get started. As usually, we start with the cryptocurrencies. We're going to start with Bitcoin. I've got a weekly chart or the daily chart on Bitcoin that we've been looking at for the last couple of weeks, and that is a blank chart, and that is the structure that we've been looking at. So what are we looking at here? If you just go and look at the chart, I just see one big corrective structure there. Let's just have a look there. I just want to do this high level, and then we're going to go into the lower time frame to see how this is playing out. So if I will just identify this structure, what is that structure? That structure is not a triangle. That is a running flat, and that running flat goes something like this. You've got a pulsing move up, you've got a corrective move down, and then you've got this move to the upside. That is your running flat there. So let me just disable the videos there. Right, so that is a running flat. 1, 2, 3. What is the 3 waves? The 3 waves is this. This is your 3 waves here. That is your B wave. So if we label this here, you'll see that we've got an A move here and a B move, and your B move is that whole green correction here. So it is a simple ABC structure. From there, you can see that we started with a move. I'm going to use the red here. I should rather use yellow because it's the same degree. So if you look at this move here, it is a 3-wave move to the downside. It's a 1, 2, 3-wave moves to the downside, and a 1, 2, 3 in yellow. Just follow the yellow, and another 1, and another 2. Sorry, I need to do it properly there. I need to use the red degree there. Okay. So then you've got a 1, 2, and a 3. That red is actually the green. So let's do it properly. Use the right degree. So that should be in the green degree. Let's have a look here. Put the green degree. 1, 2, 3 there. Now you've got from the end of the pulsing move at the end of 2018, you've got a 3-wave move down. That move we can label ABC as well. That is an ABC move here. Let's label it ABC. ABC. You've got another ABC pullback here, and then you've got another ABC. Simple structure. Okay, so now You can see that the correction started in the beginning of 2018 up to the end of 2019. So exactly 2 years we have been correcting in the cryptocurrency. I mean, exactly 1 year we've been in a correction on Bitcoin. Now, how do we label this whole structure? Now, you've got ABC there, ABC there, ABC there. We need to consolidate all of this. So this first move is a W. The second pullback is a X wave. Let's put it in seconds to show it's a higher degree than what you're seeing there. And then you've got a Y there. Simple three-wave structure. Let's show this with arrows. We've got a simple one. Let's do this properly. 1, 2, 3. Now, what are we expecting to happen from there? We started with this big move to the upside. That whole move was corrected with this red, and now we're looking for this one. Is this the one that's going to go all the way? And that is what we've been looking at since we started buying Bitcoin around this area. Okay, now let's go to the 4-hour chart. You'll see something interesting. Similarities of patterns here in the 4-hour time frame. So if we are now going to label this, so this was going to be a bigger A, B, I'm out of space there, guys, and then a C. So this move that you're looking at is this one here. Okay, but it does not go in a straight line. You have to find proper entries that you can enter with proper risk to reward ratios. Okay, so now let's go into the 4-hour time frame and look at the continuation patterns. Because if this move is this one, you need to at some point be able to ride onto this trend if you have not bought this, if you have not bought the cryptocurrencies. Now let's have a look on the 4-hour. Let's go 4-hour. You'll see something interesting here on the patterns. Let's have a look here. Now, check what has happened here. It's exactly the same thing that is happening. We had this first move here happening. That was the first move. Okay, we're looking at that as a running flat. And then the following week, it made this structure. Then we looked at the bigger running flat. Now, as I've said previously, we did not buy the first of this move because we were still expecting downside. Okay, we only found the move from here when it made this bigger structure here, a pulse and a corrective structure. This is where we bought Bitcoin. Okay, so it has been riding all along since that time. Now, what has happened again? Last week I said after this pullback, this can only correct sideways, and that is exactly what has happened. It is a flat correction, but in this case, it is a running flat. What does a flat correction mean? It simply means, if we're talking about a flat correction, we're simply saying that against the trend, this corrects sideways. Flat relative, it is flat relative to the trend. That's why it's called a flat correction. So this flat correction has got 3 variations. That's a bit of education. This flat correction has got 3 variations. This is the one that is a regular flat. You also have a running, rather let's start with the expanding flat. An expanding flat like that. Let's just take this off here first. So you've got 3 variations. The other one is an expanding flat that breaks the top and breaks the low. And the other one is a running flat that breaks the top, does not break the low. All of this against the trend. If this is your trend here, if this is your trend, you can see that these are going sideways relative to the trend. That is why they are called flats. These are the 3 variations of flat corrections. Right, so now which one do we have here? Here we had a regular, it's a running flat actually. It breaks the top, does not break the low. Now, this is also a flat correction. Said we're going to have a flat correction. It's going sideways. Even though this breaks the top, does not break the low, this is a running flat. Right, so now that is what we have here. So you also have a zigzag. You can see a zigzag is something a little bit different to a flat correction, but it's a correction nonetheless because it actually opposes the move. It does not go sideways. It almost goes against the trend. Right, now what do we have in this case? We've got a running flat on Bitcoin. Let's show that running flat. So now that running flat, you've got a passing move down, you've got a passing move to the up, you've got a 3-way move to the upside, and then you've got a 3-way move to the downside. It's a simple 3-wave running flat correction. Okay. Now you see the similarities. Let's clean this up here. Got so many of these. You see the similarities between this 1 and this 2. It's exactly the same type of correction. After the correction comes the pulsing move. After the correction comes the pulsing move. So you could have, you would not have bought it here because it was not a clear structure, but you should have at least been able to buy it there after noticing this flat correction. So that is what we're looking at Bitcoin. So now you're looking for continuation patterns to the upside as we've indicated in the higher degree structure. I don't think it gets any more detailed than that. So that is Bitcoin, simple structure. Look out for corrective structure here. It's coming, it's not coming back here. It's just going to correct, and then you can look out to continue riding the trend. So it's a similar structure on all the cryptocurrencies. Simple, you're looking for continuation patterns to buy. Okay, Litecoin. Litecoin is slightly different in that the structure was not running flat, but rather in this case, when we eventually bought this, let's have a look here. At the same time as Bitcoin, we saw this pullback here. It's a three-wave structure. Let's have a look here. What happened with the three-wave structure? So this was a three-wave structure. It was actually making this three-wave structure. Even this one, we thought it was still going to come back for one here, right? But this is where it happened. We got the three-wave structure here, and then it pushed up higher. Now, the interesting thing about this one is that it just corrects in simple three-wave structures. Now, watch all these three-wave structures. You see that you've got 1, you've got 2, you've got 3. Okay, it pushes up. You've got 1, you've got 2, you've got 3. It pushes up. Okay, also here you've got 1, you've got 2, you've got 3. You got to push up. 1, 2, 3, it pushes up. Here you also have 1, 2, 3. If you don't see it clearly, it's 1, it's 2, it's 3. You cannot miss it. Now, what are we looking for? Here, also look out for this corrective structure for a push higher. This push may not go straight. It may come back for one before it goes. But either way, you should be able to buy here and protect yourself when it gets to this level. All you're looking for with cryptocurrencies is continuation patterns. Now, Litecoin, if you remember, let's have a look here. Litecoin, if you remember, this is where we picked it up. We picked up the reversal. Just thought because the other cryptos still had some way to go to the downside, this was going to come back as well. So we spotted the exact reversal on Litecoin. Right, so now this is on the daily. You look out for these corrective structures for continuation to the upside. There is no indication, no sign of reversal on the cryptos. Ethereum is a similar structure to Bitcoin, right? Let's have a look here. On Ethereum, you see that you've got a three-wave pullback here. And you also had this sideways move here. It's a three-wave correction. You've got a pulsing move here. All you're looking for now is a corrective structure and a push to the upside. Simple as that. Okay, let's go through, let's look at the 4-hour as well. Right. So you had this pulsing move down, three-way move up, and a three-way move to the downside. It's actually 3-3-3 structure. So that means that is a double XY structure. That is your corrective structure here, and then you're looking to push this higher. You're going to look for a corrective structure in the 4 or 1 hour to ride the trend. Cryptos are on the upside. You can see we had a three-wave pullback here. Three-wave pullbacks are opportunities to ride the trend, and you need to have a strategy to enter. Now, the interesting one is Ripple, because Ripple, we spotted it to the pip. Right, so let's have a look at Ripple on daily. Let's look at the daily. Right, so Ripple, we are still looking for this structure to come and retest here. I'm on the daily here. I'm still looking for a retest of this top here. Now, this has now started a move. Sorry about that. Let's have a look. So this has started this move here, and it is currently correcting with this. So this is now almost guaranteed that we are going to have this move to the upside. Okay, now if you look at the overall structure on Ripple, let's just show the structure. So Ripple, let's get a simple structure. What are we looking for? We're looking for this one to be a three-wave move. 1, 2. This is the current move that we're in now. This one to the upside that we are expecting. So we're expecting something like that. Minimum retest this top here. Where does that come from? If we mark this here, you'll see that we've got here another three-wave move. let's show this one. You've got a move down here on Ripple, you've got a correction, and then you've got another move down. So that means you've got a 3-wave in yellow, W, a 3-wave in yellow, X, possibility of one more back before we go. Okay, so that is what the structure of Ripple. Now, where are we now? We are here looking to retest the top here, and we are currently correcting in this fashion. Let's have a look at that correction in the lower degree on the 4-hour. Let's have a look. Right now, same as the other cryptocurrencies, you'll see that we've made this regular flat here, the same one, similar to what we've made done on Bitcoin. We've got this regular flat here, one down, up, down. Now we're looking for this move to the upside. Okay, so let's see if we're going to get a corrective structure and a push higher till we get to that level that we're looking at in the higher time frame. Simple continuation pattern for upside on Ripple. All right, so that's that on the cryptos. Now let's go to the indices. All right, so let's look at the S&P 500. The indices for the last couple of weeks, I have been saying they are very simple to trade. I'm going to give you a bit of a recap because there are some viewers that have been watching and having doubts about the analysis. And we've been doing this week in, week out for the last couple of years now, and we've spotted this almost to the peep every single time. That is the indices. The indices are very simple. They're straightforward. So now let's have a look at the S&P 500 and see what happened here. I'm not going to go into the whole analysis on this and why we're expecting upside. So this is what you guys do not see, first of all. When I do the analysis on the weekly, you don't see this higher degree analysis or historical analysis, and where we're looking at when we're looking at the chart. You see the next immediate move. I do show you the 4-hour and the daily sometimes, but there's a higher degree analysis on this. Let me switch this off for now. You can see that I've got a wave 4 here and a wave 3. That's all coming from the whole structure from the back here. Just have a look here. So I'm not going to go into the detail because that's going to take a lot of time, but I think I've showed this in one of the videos. So let's switch this off and show this. Now, we looked at this structure as a 3-wave move like this. Okay, that is a 3-wave move down and a 3-wave move up and a 3-wave move to the downside. So that move is a WXY move. As much as it's an expanding flat, it is an expanding flat with all 3 waves internally. So that's why it is a WXY move. If you remember when this was crashing here, we said this is going to push higher. There wasn't any sign of reversal when this was coming down here, and everybody was panicking, thinking the indices are crashing, but we were simply looking at this structure and we were looking for this to push higher. This move to the upside, we forecasted, or I forecasted when this was still doing this here. Okay, and that is not because I've got magic, it's because I simply follow the rules to the pip. Okay, so if I am wrong, then it means that what I've studied or what I've learned does not really work, or I'm reading it wrong. Okay, so I simply apply the wave theory as I have learned and studied it. So this is what we're expecting. We're looking at a corrective structure. It will not make sense for this to go all the way down if it was correcting like this. Now we got the move to the upside. Okay, when we got here a couple of weeks back, 2 or 3 weeks back, we said expect a deeper correction. What deeper correction did we get? Okay, we got this deeper correction now. Now again, there are a number of people panicking and saying the indices are crashing when this was coming down. It was a simple pullback, and we focused that pullback when we got here, because we understand the structure that we are looking at. We're not just looking at the front end or the latest swing. Okay, there's a whole cycle that we're looking at here now. That is what has happened. So 2 weeks back, before I went away, we were looking at this structure and I showed you exactly where this was going to reverse. If you watch the last video, you'll see that I've plotted the blue box, and you will see that S&P 500 has reversed exactly on the blue box. We call this the magic blue box. Okay, it was a simple 3-wave structure. As it was coming down, I I showed you the three-wave move here, that it could go from here, or it can make a double correction, and that is what it has done. It has made a three-wave move down, a three-wave move up, and a three-wave move down. Okay, so last week, the week before, I said this can either give you a three-wave structure like this and make another double and push higher. Either that, or it can give you this pulsing move, entry, and then you push higher. And that is the move that you've got now. All right, so it is all about looking at the structure. All right, if you understand the structure, if you understand how the theory works, you should be able to trade this profitably. Right, so that is what we've got. We reversed from the blue box, and you'll see that all the indices, I'm going to be showing you the same thing that we were looking at, just three waves and push higher. Okay, so now what are we looking for? We're looking for continuation pattern here. You need to understand the end of a continuation pattern and when it is complete to enter, to ride the trend if you are not able to take it from the blue box. Okay, so we're still expecting a push higher on the indices. That is the S&P 500. The Dow is similar. The Dow is similar. You can see the exact same structure. Three-wave pullback. We mentioned that it was going to happen. Okay, it has happened. We've got a pulsing move. Watch last week's video. All these moves that have happened on the S&P, on the indices, they were forecasted when that was still coming down. Now you're looking for continuation. When this is ready, you look for upside. NASDAQ, exactly the same as well. So same as the S&P 500. When this was coming down, everybody was convinced that the indices are crashing, but we were looking at this structure. Look at the structure that we were looking at. This is what you do not see. We're looking for this expanding flat. Okay, it's a flat correction. That's what we're looking at. Now, last week when this was coming down, I said, this is a three-wave pullback. It can do this and make a double. Okay, or we can simply have a pulsing move because now the three-wave move pullback has completed. Now you're simply looking for continuation pattern to the upside. Easy. All right. Interestingly, look at the Nikkei as well. Look at the Nikkei. So this was actually the Nikkei. The next one, let's go to the DAX first before we do the UK. The DAX also exactly the same thing. Three-wave pullback. All the indices, these pullbacks happened and they do exactly the same thing. Exactly the same structure. Now you're looking for continuation pattern to the upside. That is the DAX. Simple. That's why I say the indices are simple to trade. They do exactly the same thing. That is the DAX. And let's look at the UK as well. The UK 100. Where's my UK 100? That's the UK 100. UK 100. You see, I'm doing exactly the same thing. Three waves, pull back, pulsing move. Now you're correcting. We expect continuation to the upside. No need to panic. All right. That is the DAX. That is UK 100. My apologies. Right. So I think that concludes all the indices. Let's look at the NIFTY as well. So the NIFTY, we got a push higher here. Now what are we expecting with the NIFTY? We're expecting a pullback here. Maybe it pulls back in three waves. You can see the structure now, similar to what the other indices have done. We expect a three-wave pullback and a continuation to the upside. We'll update the overall structure as soon as we get more data on this one. Right, so that is the NIFTY, and there is a Sun Pharmaceutical stock that I look at for my Indian traders, and we've not looked at that for a while in these webinars. So the last time we checked this, it was making this flat correction. It's an expanding flat, and then we dropped, and this is the move that we got. Now it looks like it made a pulsing move. Is this going to be a corrective structure? Come down here, retest, and continue to the downside. That's the expectation on the Sun Pharmaceutical stock. We're still looking for a further downside. Should reverse around this area, maybe retest the top before it comes down. All right, so now let's look at, go to the majors, the US dollar pairs. Don't forget there are timestamps if you're not interested in all these pairs. If you're only looking for specific pairs, you can just go to those. Let's have a look here at the list here. Euro, US dollar. Now, Euro US dollar, it's amazing how wave analysis plays out. Okay, I still get surprised sometimes on the accuracies. Now, let's have a look at the daily on Euro US dollar. Let's go. Now we're doing the US dollar pairs. We are still looking at this as the diagonal. We've got an ending diagonal here. That is your ending diagonal. Okay. What did we say before the week before? We said buy this to the upside. You got that move to the upside. We're looking at that to be a wave 4 within the diagonal. What is it's a 1, it's a 2, it's a 3, it's a 4, and then we're looking for this one to be the last move now before we get at least a 3-wave pullback. Even if it's not a zigzag, I've indicated that it can be any corrective structure. It can even be a structure like this. It can be any of the corrective structures. Okay, but right now we're coming down with this wave 5 to the downside. If that comes down like that with divergence, if this keeps making lower lows and the RSI keeps making higher lows, then we've got a very good trade in our hands for upside before we continue with the move to the downside. Now let's have a look here in the lower degree. Okay, so that is your structure first in the daily. You can see that is the wave 4. Okay, we've got a wave 4 now. We've got a pulsing move down to start the wave 5. Corrective structure, you can take it down. Let's check also if we've got any divergence. Yes, we still have divergence. Our divergence is still intact. We're getting this here. So if this keeps making this higher lows and this makes a lower low, we are definitely going to get our pullback or our correction before we come down. Okay, so let's see. Let's keep an eye on the euro 4 hour. Let's have a look at the 4 hour. It has played out to the pip on the analysis that I made before going away. Right, so last week I said from here you need to buy this, take it up. You can see you've got this move. I showed you the structure. I think I went into detail. Watch last week's video, into detail of how this was playing out. This is what I showed you last week. Let's repeat that. Okay, so you've got this here. We looked at this to be a running flat. I need to switch off here so you can see clearly the structure. We identified that as a running flat. 1, 2, 3. Now the running flat that you're looking at, look at it, watch it in green, it's 1. And the 3-wave move on this green is this one here in blue. Let's mark that one in blue actually, so it can be visible. 1, 2, 3. Right, and then you've got a pulsing move here. Your whole correction is the green, and this is what I expected. When we were here, I said we're expecting that this will push a little bit higher to complete the wave 4. What has happened? That's exactly what has happened. We went up and then we came down. So now the wave 4 is now complete. You've made a flat correction there, and you're coming down with this one. Now you're looking for entries to the downside, like this one here. Look for entries to the downside to go and complete that wave 4. At some point, you should have a deeper one here, because wave 4s within the diagonal can be in 3 waves. All the waves within the diagonal can be 3 waves. So that is the structure, and I labeled this. Watch last week's videos as well, a video, so you can see exactly how we forecasted this. Then you'll see how wave analysis works. It's very accurate. Okay, so that's what you're looking at on the euro. Right, US dollar CAD. US dollar CAD is a little bit tricky now because I wanted this to keep crawling. I wanted this to keep crawling to the upside here like this, and the forecast on this one was that we have a pulsing move to the downside, and this was a corrective structure. Okay, we're doing a recap of how this has played out and what we looked at. What we looked at and how it played out. So we had this pulsing move. We looked at this to be a 3-wave move to the upside. We looked at this one to be a 3-wave move correction. Okay, what I was expecting with this one was that it was going to make another 3-wave move here like this, similar in size as this one, to actually go and retest the top. That's why I expected that this was going to push a little bit higher like that. So I mentioned that this what we need to look at, watch last week. I always say watch last week because this is a recap of what we discussed. So we need to see the outcome of the analysis. So we said, look at this. If it breaks this one here, this trend line here, as much as you're not trading trend lines, this may go all the way and give us this structure. Okay, but even that still has not played out. So what has happened here is that you've got a three-wave move here. That is still a three-wave move. You've got a W, X, and a Y. So what is happening now is that you could be having a bigger corrective structure that corrects the whole move. Let's get the blue off. That corrects the whole move and becomes, let's do this. This becomes your structure, and becomes your structure. Okay, so that could be an even bigger structure that will still retest. To this in dotted lines, that could still retest the top there. I think it's a little bit clustered yet, so let's clean it up so we can show the structure clearly and what we're looking at. Let's remove the labelings. So you've got a three-wave move up, pull back, and expect another move to the upside. Where are we now? Where we are now is, as my mouse is acting up, we are here now. Expect this correction to at least come and retest the previous high here. Then we can update the structure. So that is the next move on US dollar CAD. Expect correction to go and retest the top here. Then we'll see what structure is it's making here. That is US dollar CAD. US dollar CHF. Now US dollar CHF, simple. You just have to watch what the euro is doing. The euro is coming down. We're looking for that to make a wave 5. So what could happen here? Look out for a corrective structure. Let me do this in yellow. Look out for a corrective structure at some point here. Make a three-wave move and a move to the downside. So that is what's going to be happening when the euro completes the wave 5. So this is helping the euro to complete wave 5 to the downside. When that is done, then this one comes down. This makes a three-wave move to the upside, and then it starts coming down. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this. When the euro starts correcting and this one starts correcting, you'll be buying this and selling the euro. Pound US dollar. So pound, I said any move that you see on the pound pairs that looks like upside, watch out. It is a continuation to the downside. Watch the video, the past 2 weeks video, 3 weeks videos. That's what we're looking at. We're looking to continue with the trend. Why are we looking for only downside on the pound pairs? Let's show the higher degree structure. We're looking at this. Let's show the daily. Let's get my auto scale here. Let's get the daily. So you can see why we're only looking for downside on the pound pairs. Now, if you look on the daily, you'll see that structure that you saw here. This structure that you saw here, trying to replicate it in the higher degree. So this was on the 4 hour. That is the 3-wave pullback on the 4 hour. That structure that you see there, we're looking for it to come down. Now, that exact same structure is this one. It is this expanding flat that you see here. You had a pulsing move, a big pulsing move. It needed to be corrected. It was corrected by that expanding flat. Okay, focus on this expanding flat, even though at some point we were almost discouraged that it was going to happen because it kept pushing higher. All right, so down we're down with this, and I said any continuation pattern to the downside, you keep selling. Okay, so even when we were coming here, if you remember when we were coming down here with this, we thought this was going to make a three-way move and push higher, but this is now making another continuation pattern. Look to sell the pound pairs, because the structure that you're looking for is a pulsing move, A, B, and a C. So this will keep going down. And then your next target could even be down here. Just to use the blue here. This does not move in a straight line, so you need to be careful. That could be your next stop. initially for this. Then you'll have this three-way move to the downside. So look for continuation patterns and keep selling the pound pairs. You'll see on the pound pairs, when you do the pound pairs, I'll just be showing you the continuation patterns and how that is playing out. That is pound US dollar. Now looking at Audi US dollar. Audi US dollar 4 hour. Let's look at the 4 hour. That's what we showed last week before I went away. You've got you got this corrective structure. I showed that you can have three-way move, and then you're going to have continuation to the downside. And that is exactly how that has played out. Now, any continuation pattern, it's an opportunity to ride the trend. Simple as that. Okay? You can see that this is a powerful tool to trade. And it's easy because you can just refer to the previous videos and compare with what has happened. That is Audi US dollar. New Zealand as well. Although this one has pushed a little bit longer, the wave C here pushed a little bit longer than wave A. That was the expectation, that this was going to make this and come down. Okay, that was the expectation. Okay, and now that's what you have. Look for continuation patterns to the downside. You can even make a case, or not really, it will not. I was saying you could make a case of an expanding flat here like this, but this looks like it is way out of the 1,618, so it will not be within the guidelines. So we just look at this one as a three-wave pullback. Right, so that is New Zealand and US dollar ZAR. This is correlated to US dollar CAD. Let's look at the higher degree structure. Again, show what we're looking at here. I expected that this US dollar ZAR could retest one here and then go up here. Either that or it can keep crawling, same as what we expected with US dollar CAD, to the top here, because the structure that you would have had would have been a pulsing move down, correction here in three waves, and a pulsing move. And what you would have here is a 1, is a 2, is a 3 again, that is a retest. Now from there you should come down with a pulsing move or a three-wave move. Then we'll label it as it plays out. That structure here, you've got a three-wave move here. That would have been A running flat. So it's pulsing move A, three-wave move B, and then a C in 5 waves. You've got also here another pulsing move A, B, the C. That's what you're expecting here on US dollar ZAR. At least a retest again of the 1560-80 area. Okay, before we come down now, we're going to label this higher degree depending on what it does when it gets to this level. So it's going to keep crawling up to that level, WXY. Could even be an ABC here depending on what this plays out as. Those are the rules that we use for labeling the structures correctly. That is US dollar ZAR, and that should conclude all the US dollar pairs that we look at here. Now let's look at silver and gold as well. We'll start with gold, okay, before we go to the yen pairs. Now gold, we looked at this corrective structure as a pulsing move, a pullback, and we're looking at this one as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ending diagonal, which is now pushed up higher like that. Okay, but now there's an overall, there's a higher degree structure that we're looking at. As much as we've got this pullback here now, this is the end of the upside move. Okay, we need to watch what we're looking at here in the higher degree. And let me let you in on what the higher degree looks like here. There are two ways in which this can play out. This is the weekly, and that is the labeling on the weekly. You've got a pulsing move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that ends with a diagonal. Now there are two ways in which this can play out. After the fifth wave, you're expecting a corrective structure. You've got a three-wave move up here in the blue W. Now, is this going to be a three-wave move up and then makes a three-wave move here, and then we make another three-wave move to the upside like that? Let's switch this off here. There are two possibilities that we're looking at here. So this could be a 3-wave move up. Now we're just looking at the correction. You've seen that it's a 5-wave move here to the downside, and we're looking at this corrective structure. Now this could be a regular flat. Rules of a regular flat just simply says that if this is your wave A, this is your B, your C ends at around the area of the end of wave A. So this can also be the wave here, the area under the wave A. You can make a case of a regular flat. In that case, you can have 3-wave move up, 3-wave move down, and a 3-wave move up like that. Then you'll have W, X, Y. Okay, so that is if this is a regular flat. Now there's an alternative here. The alternative is a triangle that we were disqualifying because, so let's have a look here. So you could have here a triangle with a flat top like this. So I said last week or the week before that when we get to the top boundary of the triangle, then we'll decide what structure we're making, because so far it's looking very good for a triangle. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You've got a pulsing move here within a triangle. You are only allowed one pulsing move within a triangle. Now this is another 3-wave move within a triangle. 1, 2, 3. So in this case, you've got A, B, C, D. Are we going to get an E before we go? That's what we still need to check and see what's going to happen. Now that we'll see depending on the structure that forms here on gold. So you could have something like this. Is it going to come down here and make a triangle and give us this structure? Let's get there. This here, triangle, and then this. Right, so that will all depend on how this is playing out here. Now let's go to the 4-hour and see what is happening there, if we've got any signs there of a reversal on gold. It has to be something convincing. Okay, so right now, right on the top boundary of the triangle as expected, as I said, you got a reversal there. It's a pulsing move, nothing confirmed as yet until you get a corrective structure and it starts coming down here. And even that can still be a corrective structure here that will push it up higher. So for now, you're just looking for a pullback, and then we'll update as it goes on. That is gold. Silver is similar structure. So silver, we looked at, we still have that labeling. We looked at this diagonal, perfect textbook diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a push higher. Is this going to now make a 1, 2, 3 continuation pattern and we push higher? Then that will give us an indication on this, on the structure that gold will take. Okay, so let's see how this plays out. So for silver, we're looking for a continuation pattern here and maybe a retest of the previous low here before pushing higher. That is silver and gold. Now let's look at the yen pairs. The yen pairs, even pound yen, we're looking for only downside. Said we are looking for only continuation to the downside. You can see you've got a 3-wave pullback here and a move to the downside, and that is how that has played out. Look out for any corrective structure. You'll be riding this to the downside. When you've got the structure in the higher degree, doesn't matter what happens in the lower time frame, you know you're confident where the direction of the market is. Let's go daily, see what's going on there. And I've opened the wrong chart here. So that is pound JPY. Pound JPY, we're still looking for it to come down, possibly even retest this low here. This low here. Okay, so that was a correction in the lower time frame. You're looking for it to come down. Looks like it's making a 5-wave move here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going for a 5. We'll see what structure forms there. So you're looking for continuation patterns to the downside. Look at the USDJPY, also looking for downside. Right, now I need to remind you of the structure that we're looking at on USDJPY in the higher degree. Okay, so those that have been watching these videos for the last 3 years would remember that we looked at this structure here as a 3-wave move. Let's show this one here. I want to show you the higher degree structure here and what we're looking at. I showed this the week before as well. I think for the last 2 webinars, I've shown this. Now, what we looked at here was that this was going to be a 3-wave move like this. Move down, pull back, and a move down. Now here you've got a running flat. Let's mark it again as well. You also have a running flat there. Now that makes a 3-wave move. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what you have here is a 3-wave down, it's a 3-wave pullback. Now we are looking for this to be a pulsing move down, a correction, and another move down. Okay, why are we looking for that? That's because this will be a W, this will be an X. This structure that's currently forming will be a Y. Now that Y, I need to take it off and put it low. This can even retest this previous low here. We've got a WXY move here. What does that do? Let's use the green here. So you see that you've got a pulsing move here in green, WXY 3 waves, and then you get a pulsing move up. Okay, so that is the structure that you're looking for now. This is not over. Move down in red, and that whole green is correcting the red, and then we'll expect a move like this. Okay, still not done. You've got a move here being corrected by the whole red, and then you look for something like this. I'm out of space. So this is just how the cycles work. Now let's show you again. This will be your A in the higher degree. Excuse my annotation there. A, B, C. Red, A, B, C. And so it goes. Blue, W, X, Y, and so it goes. So now where are we? We are here. That's why I'm saying look for continuation patterns to the downside on USDJPY. And if you don't have the strategy, if you don't understand how structures work, you won't be able to catch this. You'll just watch it go down. You keep selling, lose money, and keep selling, lose money, because you need an entry strategy to take this as much as you know the direction of the market. So that's what you're looking at here on USDJPY. Now the rest of the yen pairs, you're just looking for downside. You see you had a pullback. Let's go for hour. You had a pullback on the euro for hour. You had a 3-wave pullback on the euro. 1, use yellow. 1, 2, 3, and then we're coming down. Okay, so you're just looking for continuation patterns to the downside. Yen pairs, looking downside. If same continuation pattern, here you've got an sort of a regular flat. 3 waves up, 3 waves back, and 3 waves up, and then you're coming down. Look for continuation pattern to the downside. That is a nice structure here. Regular flat, and you're looking for downside. Easy the yen pairs, you're just looking for continuation to the downside. Right, AUD yen. Let's have a look here. Pull back in 3 waves like the other yen pairs. I don't know why I keep changing the color. Pull back in 3 waves. 1, 2, 3. Continuation pattern to the downside. Let's look at the higher degree here. See why we're looking for this to keep going down. All the yen pairs, you can see the trend is still down. Okay, only continuation patterns to the downside. Now start watching for divergence if you're gonna have any pullback here, but for downside. Right, not much of a trade there at the moment. It's just riding the trend. New Zealand similar, pullback, and then you're riding the trend. New Zealand is close to this level. Right, that's New Zealand yen. CAD similar. So at some, you can see the CAD has made a running flat there. And then you're going to be coming down with this one. Continuation pattern to the downside. Okay, so that's all the yen pairs. Now let's look at the pound pairs. Pound pairs are Simple as I've said, because you're just looking for continuation patterns to the downside. Let's start with the pound chief. Pound chief, you'll see that we looked at exactly the same pattern as we did on pound US dollar. This is your expanding flat. Okay, it's your expanding flat. We have a move to the downside. This is the move, a correction, and then you're expecting this move to continue. Now, every time you see anything that looks like an upside move on the pound pairs, as I said, this is what you got. I showed this on pound US dollar as well. You're looking for continuation pattern to the downside because this is the structure you're looking at. Just look for downside. All right, that is a pound chief. Pound New Zealand. So pound New Zealand is making a three-wave pullback. So we saw that this made a 1, 2, 3, and right to the peep here at the top, we got this reversal here. This was the blue box forecasted, and then we made this move. This move, I was expecting it to keep going like this, expecting that this is the same move as that. Now that can still be the case, so this can just be a 1, 2, 3 pullback, and then we continue to the downside. Let's look at this one in the 4-hour. Let's look at the 4-hour. Right, so this can simply be a pulsing move up, correction, and a move up, then we drop. Okay, but for now, you're going to have a slight move to the upside because there's this corrective structure here. Just be careful with this move because that could be the end and then it could be coming down here like that. Let's look at divergence as well. It has already started the divergence to the downside. So this can make one up while this makes a low. Okay, no new trades there. Pound Audi. Now, pound Audi, very interesting. Now you're looking at this three-wave move here. Is this the end of the three-wave move? Are we ready to come down? Now, let's look at the 1 hour and see if we've got any signs of going down. For now, on the 4 hour, it looks like this is making a corrective structure that will push it higher. But let's look at it on the 1 hour and see how that is playing out. So on the 1 hour, you could have downside here, okay? You need to wait for this corrective structure. Otherwise, if you get this pulsing move and a correction, this is going to play this structure, okay? Let's have a look and see how this plays out. You've got a simple three-way move to the upside here. But because the overall direction of the market on this here, the trend is down, we're looking for downside. We're looking for downside. So that pullback, you can see that this pullback here is what we expect of all the pound pairs. Now, all we want is a pulsing move, down, correction, and then we keep riding the trend. Now, this can even come down to this level because we're looking for this here. Right, so this pound, Audi, pound, New Zealand we looked at, pound CAD. Pound CAD is simple. It's nothing but pullbacks. As I said, pound pairs, you're simply looking for these pullbacks. Now you had this 1, 2, 3, you had this whole corrective structure on pound CAD, and now we're looking for this same thing to happen to the downside. Any corrective structure, deeper corrective structure, will just be this one, and then we look to sell it. Right, that's a pound CAD. Euro. Right, so the euro pound, because we're expecting long-term downside on the pound pairs, we're expecting euro pound to go and retest the top here. So continuation patterns on euro pound, take them. What is the structure here? Let's show the structure on the daily. The structure on this is three-wave move to the downside, three-wave flat correction, and three-wave zigzag to the downside. Even if it does not reach the blue box, that is still okay. Let's switch this off. So what has happened is that you've got a move, right, big move from the downside, and now that move completes, and then you've got a pulsing move like that. Continuation pattern, keep buying. continuation pattern, keep buying, at least retest the top there. Right, so let's go into the euros, the rest of the euro pairs. Euro New Zealand was our trade of the week. Did not play out as we wanted it to. We were looking at this structure. It can still play out, don't disqualify it just yet. This was the move, this was the move. And we were looking for this to make a regular flat and continue to the downside. So this was the pulsing move, correction, and I was expecting this one here. But as I said last week, what I said last week is that this could make a three-wave move here and go and actually retest the top here before coming down. So watch out for this, okay? So don't disqualify this and don't miss this move if it starts playing out. Look out for reversal patterns, reversal signs there, and look to, we'll be looking for a pulsing move to the downside and a correction to actually ride this to the downside. This is not convincing yet for upside. Okay, it looks like you also have some divergence as well. So higher high here. Let's see how this one plays out. I'm still convinced that this may still come down. Watch it first, give you some time. Right, so that's Euro New Zealand. Euro Audi, we're selling it for the same reason, only reason that the Euro New Zealand looked like it was coming down. It made a three-wave regular flat, okay? But it looked like it was going to make another correction and come down. Now let's watch and see if it's not going to do the same thing as the Euro and starts reversing from there, making this structure here. Okay, so let's see. Now, I'm not looking at a triangle. Al-Jazz is asking if this is making a triangle. I don't see any triangle. I'm not looking at a triangle on Euro Audi. All right, that is Euro Audi, Euro New Zealand, EURCAD. So EURCAD, a little bit messy. But the structure currently here, you've got a pulsing move here down. You've got a pulsing move to the upside. Now this is a complex correction. You see you've got a running flat there. Not a running flat, you've got a regular flat there. In green, let's see what other structure needs to play out there. Because you've got another three-wave move there, you could have another three-wave move there and make this one here. So it could still be a complex structure before we get the red. But eventually when this is done, we need to have the red move coming down up like this. So that means this could still come, we can still have another green correction in this side. So for now, this is not clear as to what is going to happen here. It's just going sideways. So no new trade here. But we can see that this is a correction structure, and when it is completed, we're going to look for this one here. So let's watch and let this play out, this correction play out. Don't lose money trying to predict this. Okay, that is EURCAD. EUROCHF goes with the euro, US dollar. We've got a pullback in three waves. So as euro US dollar is making the last wave 5, expect the same thing for EUROCHF. Not the same structure, but rather same direction. You've got a move, three-wave move down. You've got a three-wave pullback. Expect another 3 waves down. Okay, so that is EUROCHF. Now, EUROCHF is the reason why we're looking to sell Euro New Zealand. Let's have a look here on the daily. So EUROCHF, you can see the structure that you see on the New Zealand is this one. This is why I'm convinced that Euro New Zealand may still come down and give us this. So Euro New Zealand, this is the structure. We're looking for this wave. Okay, this has made a pullback in 3 waves. So expecting continuation pattern. This structure. Okay, WXY. So that's what we're expecting on Euro US dollar. Okay, all right. That is what you're looking at on EUROCHF. Continuation pattern to the downside. This is a perfect corrective structure, continuation pattern, and any correction below this, you're gaining this move. Watch EUROCHF, very good setup there. Now let's look at the rest of some of the cross pairs. Audi New Zealand. Now Audi New Zealand, there was a trade here that we looked at here. It was this one here. That was going to come down here. That has happened now. It looks like now the whole thing here is a corrective structure. Let's have a look. Looks like we've got this one here. So pull back here, and then we're going to have this one here. So that is 3 waves all round. 1, 2, 3. One. I need to do it cleanly. 1, 2, 3. Now you've got this corrective structure here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, possibly. So that's what you're looking at. That will be a whole corrective structure. That will be a whole corrective structure, and you can expect a move up. Let's use a different color. It's a pulsing move and another pulsing move, possibly. Let's see how this plays out. Watch out for this one to break to the downside, and then you get this one. That's Audi New Zealand. Audi CAD, continuation to the downside. Continuation to the downside. Okay, just a little bit. You'll see as you go to oil, we've got a small move to the upside. That's why we'll expect this move to the downside on Audi CAD. We're still going to do oil after this, and then you'll see why. So on oil, you're going to have a little bit of upside. That's why all the pairs with CAD as the quoted pair, they have a slight move to the downside still. Let's look at New Zealand CAD. Okay, so New Zealand CAD, expecting this one to make a move. One more down before we get a pullback. That's all because of the move that we're expecting on oil. Let's go to oil before we complete the rest, just so I can show that move on oil. So oil, we've got this small move here on the daily. That is that small move that you see on the pairs with the quoted pair. This one here, the upside on oil to at least retest this level, but you can see that the trend on oil is still down. I've shown the weekly on this one here. So while oil is pushing up higher, all the pairs with CAD as the quoted pair should have a small move to the downside. Opposite to that, all the pairs with a CAD as the base pair should have a small move to the upside as well. Okay, that's why you can see CADJPY expecting a bit of a move to the upside. It should go with oil. That is the correlation with all of that. Right, now AUDJPY, we have not looked at AUDJPY. AUDJPY, just continuation to the downside. Nothing new there. To enter this, you need to have pullbacks like this to kind of take it down. AUDJPY, New Zealand JPY, same. You can see it makes textbook corrective structures. Then you just take it to the downside. 3-wave pullback is a sign for corrective structure. So these ones you enter with a stop loss just above the correction. Right, that's New Zealand JPY. That concludes all the pairs that I wanted to look at this week. And that's it, guys. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and the like button so you get the notification next time I upload the video. Have a great week, guys. We'll see you next week. Cheers. Enjoy. Bye-bye.